The village in it with a map and a plan. No place too tiny for this determined man. Crossing the counties one by one, he'll see in every English corner a bit of history.
Welcome back to Winchester again, everybody, for number 3. Now, as far as this one's name goes, it's got the most interesting tale behind it. I suppose you could call it a tale anyway. Nobody really knows what to call this place. It has 2 names, and nobody knows which is the official one. Is it Kilmiston or Kilmiston? You decide. Kilmiston, Kenelm's Farm. Okay, so we've been to 2 of them in Winchester so far. Let's have another one, shall we? This one is just to the south of Cheriton, where we were yesterday, and its name is, well, that's debatable what its name is. Look on any decent map of the area and you'll see the word Kilmiston spelt with an E after the M. However, you'll have already noticed by both the title of this video and the thumbnail that that spelling is not the same as the one seen there. It's open to debate as to how exactly Kilmiston should be spelt. Nobody can seem to agree, which makes this a very unusual village. The vast majority of villages across the nation have a concrete spelling, but this one varies. Historically, the village has been known as Chelmston or Kilmiston, and it's Kilmiston that's the official name of the parish according to the Office for National Statistics. That's the one we're going with therefore, but it should definitely be noted that it's not what everyone agrees on. Tough luck, I say, if that's you. I have to be consistent with the list I work from. Anyway, what does this one have for us? Well, not much, but I still think this will be a nice little episode. Kilmiston has a substantial country house, which is a Grade 2 listed building. It has a parish church dedicated to St Andrew, which has been rebuilt twice, and another country house that was once the residence of Lieutenant General Sir Henry Ward. It also has a Montessori school called Meon Springs, which is a reference to the source of the river that we'll be meeting tomorrow. Let's have a look at it all and see if we can determine exactly how this should be spelt. Let's get started with the other half of New Cheriton, the piece that we didn't cover yesterday. As we learned in Cheriton, New Cheriton is split between it and Kilmiston. This part of Kilmiston Parish contains about 40% of its population, and it's made up largely of 19th and 20th century properties situated in close proximity. This is separated from Kilmiston village by over half a mile of open countryside. Let's continue on to the village itself. So here we are in Kilmiston village, which lies on chalk downland about 8 miles southeast of Winchester. We have a bit of walking to do before we get to our first landmark, so let's fill in a bit about the village we're in. Kilmiston has been inhabited since at least Roman times. This was evidenced by local archaeologists in 2013 when a rare Roman grain dryer was excavated in a field together with the find of a Roman coin dating from the era of Emperor Constantine. That's between 306 and 337 AD. Additionally, a partial ancient skeleton was found nearby during a later dig. The name of the village has less longevity. In Old English, Kilmiston may be translated to Conhelm's Farm, Conhelm being an Anglo-Saxon name, but there may be a connection with the cult of the boy and king martyr St Kenelm. Because it's had several different spellings over time, it's perhaps not all that surprising that not everyone knows how to spell it today. Maps will tell you it's Kilmiston, but the official name of the parish is Kilmiston. That has caused some confusion, let me tell you. In the 10th century, the land belonged to the Cathedral Church of Winchester, and in 941 AD, it's recorded that King Edgar was the custodian. In 1086, the Domesday Book records Kilmiston as being divided into two manors held by Edred and Godwin. They were known as Kilmiston Gimmings and Kilmiston Plunknet. Kilmiston is a pretty nice place to live today. It's a very attractive linear parish lying within the South Downs National Park. Its main road meanders northwards from Leighton House for about 2 miles to the junction with the A272. The road runs through scattered properties in Kilmiston village, open countryside, and then across the watercourse that's the source of the River Itchen. Kilmiston has no pub, shop, bus service or mains drainage. Businesses in the village are concerned with farming, agricultural contracting, motor maintenance and bed and breakfast, and over 10% of the population describe themselves as working from home. All are dependent upon good and reliable outside communications. Some beautiful properties along that road, you'll agree with me, I'm sure. The last one you saw there is the same one you can see behind me there. That's the old post house, and beautiful it is, as well as all the others that you'll have just seen. Now I want to show you something on this little green. There's a sign, classic rural sign, which tells you what's around, and we've got Warnford, which is 3.5 miles that away, and Droxford, that's 5 1/4. Cheriton, 2 miles that way, along with Alresford, that's how you pronounce that, Alresford, 4 3/4 miles, and we'll see both of those at some point. Oh, hang on a minute, you've already seen Cheriton, haven't you? It was yesterday's episode. And up above, classic roundel that says Hampshire and Kilmiston underneath. And note how that's spelt with the E as opposed to the I. Now the official parish name, using the list that I go from, my sort of TVI Bible if you like, says that it's Kilmiston. It's an I instead of an E. But again, nobody really knows how to spell the name of this one. Is it Kilmiston? Is it Kilmeston? Nobody really knows at all. I'll tell you what I do know though. The next landmark is literally just there with a flagpole outside it. It's the village hall. This building is the village hall, which was originally Kilmiston's school and was built in 1853. This wasn't the first school in the village though. That was a dame school founded way back in 1706. This school thrived with at one time as many as 46 pupils from the surrounding district. In April of 1926, falling rolls led to its closure and the transfer of pupils to nearby Hinton Ampner, and subsequently in 1986 to Alresford. It has changed a bit with the times, but retains its integrity to village life and cohesion. Along with the church, this hosts most of Kilmiston's events. Between them, the Village Hall Committee and the Friends of St Andrews organise quizzes, a harvest supper, a summer barbecue and other things throughout the year. The hall also hosts the First Friday Club, where once a month residents can meet in convivial surroundings over a drink. Meon Springs Montessori School is also based within the hall. It offers a blend of early years learning philosophies for 2 to 5 year olds in an outstanding nursery and preschool setting. They have a lovely garden and quick and easy access to woodland and farmland, which is part of the Wayfarer Walk. It's used as an extension to the classroom, offering an amazing outdoor learning environment throughout the year, whatever the weather and however messy things can get. Now, once a year, Kilmiston unites for a very successful village fete, which is held in the grounds of Dean House. It raises much needed funds for the church and the village hall. Kilmiston also play an annual cricket match against Longwood for the same reason. Let's head towards Dean House and learn a bit more about that. Okay, we're heading towards our next landmark, which is Dean House, which has got a lot to talk about, by the way. And I was just passing through this little wooded area and I noticed this little sign. I have no idea what this is all about. This is what it reads. The Upham Drag Hounds, 1888 to 1902. Beloved little pack, a long farewell, your grateful master, J.M. Walpole. I wonder if these are graves of dogs, in which case I better get back on the road because I may be stood on them. I don't know. Maybe you Kilmiston or Kilmiston locals can inform me. What were the Upham Drag Hounds? They sound like they were dogs, and I'm assuming this is where they're buried. Am I right? Dominating the eastern side of the village, Dean House is an attractive building retaining many of its original external features. The significance of the site lies in the walled gardens, which are contemporaneous with the house, still standing on virtually their original footprint. They're formal, ornamental, and also quite productive. Dean Farm Estate was acquired in 1517 as a foundation endowment for Corpus Christi College in Oxford by Richard Fox, the Bishop of Winchester. At the time of its acquisition, it comprised a group of closes in the southeast corner of the village, together with about 50 strips in the open fields of Kilmiston. Fox's purchase comprised 86 acres, wholly within the manor of Kilmiston Plunknet. Over the 500 or so years that followed, there were about 15 tenants who would have regarded the whole of the Dean House estate as their own. Among them was General Sir Henry Ward, who was a British Army officer and colonial governor. The main house's square central block suggests Queen Anne or early Georgian origins, which would indicate it was built during the tenure of the Spencer family, who leased it from Corpus Christi College between 1677 and 1735. The college owned the estate until 1920, when it was sold to a Mr. G.K. Petto. It's been privately owned ever since. In 1930, a sales brochure for the Dean House estate described the gardens and grounds as beautiful, with a short carriage drive offering a wide sweep opposite the front door. The house was largely covered with magnolia, roses, ivy and creepers at that time. In 1934, its owner was a Mr. Steele, who opened the gardens to the public, and in 1946 it was owned by Lord Ivor Spencer Churchill, the cousin of Sir Winston Churchill. Okay, on the next corner I want to show you something that's a long way into the distance. Hopefully you guys can see it. If not, well, doesn't matter. There's a big house over this field. That's Hinton Ampner, which is owned and managed by the National Trust these days. Now, I don't know how much of that I'm going to be able to see when I eventually do that episode, so you never know. This could well be the most you ever see of it. They've got a cracking view over these fields, haven't they? I'd love to be over there right now and admire this, but then again, I'm already here, so do I really need to admire it? I'm walking around it. And Kilmiston is a very interesting and very beautiful place, and we're nearly finished with this walk. We need to head up here next towards the church and Kilmiston Manor. Now, the manor has a very, very interesting tale to tell. Now we come to the parish church of St Andrew. It's a Grade 2 listed building that stands on the site of an ancient chapel recorded in the Domesday Book. It was rebuilt on 2 occasions, firstly in 1772 and secondly in the 19th century. The 2 bells date back to the first rebuilding in 1772. St Andrews contains a few fine stained glass windows and memorials. The churchyard contains many old gravestones and a wooden seat with a beautiful view across the nearby meadows. There have recently been 2 archaeological digs in the churchyard extension, and some artefacts were found as a result, including evidence of Anglo-Saxon metalworking. The archaeological report is to be found inside the church itself. Lastly, we have the other historic house which sits over the road from the church. This is Kilmiston Manor, and it has a rather odd yet fascinating story to tell us related to the English Civil War. Legend has it that during that war, a royalist soldier hid in the house, but he never came out again. Presumably he either died or was killed, because it wasn't until the 1920s, when renovations were taking place at the manor, that his body was uncovered. Because he'd been there for so long, he literally disintegrated on exposure to the air. I wouldn't be surprised if his ghost haunts the building now. Speaking of ghosts, the manor house is also renowned for apparently housing one called the Grey Lady, who's thought to have been a servant. A notable visitor to the manor was George IV. When he was Prince of Wales, he hunted locally and the manor was remodelled for his accommodation. He supposedly wrote a few lines of verse with a diamond on a window pane, although this is stylistically questionable. It's possible that Kilmiston was not only attractive to the prince for the hunting, but also for Mrs. Fitzherbert, a friend of his who, coincidentally, at the time, lived near Cheriton. Okay, we're back to the phone box, which is almost where we began, and that's the circuit of Kilmiston. What a brilliant little place this is, even if we don't really know how to say its name properly. Kilmiston, I'm still unsure, but I've gone with Kilmiston because that's what it says on my official list. Let's move on to the next one. And we are done with Kilmiston, or Kilmeston if you will. That's 3 down now in Winchester, and we still have 45 to go. Now tomorrow we're going to be in a village a long way south of here. We're off to find a place that's covered in almost endless beds of watercress, a plant that loves life on the South Downs. Catch you there. Now, just before I go, remember, this video is part of a huge project to visit every civil parish in England. That's more than 10,000. These routes are pre-planned, and due to time constraints, I can't cover every detail or walk down every street. Please don't complain if this video missed something out. I pronounce names how I choose to. I am very aware that local dialect may vary, and I don't take kindly to criticism about this. You've been warned. It's impossible to know everything too. If this video was terrible, make your own. If you're a regular watcher of The Village Idiot, you're not the only one. If you've got a small business, why not use my videos to advertise it? Leave a comment below if you're interested. And finally, thanks for watching this episode, everybody. Give us a like and a subscribe if you've enjoyed this episode, and share it with your friends and relatives. It all helps to keep this mission going. Until next time, I've been Andy, also known as The Village Idiot, and I'm out.